Okay, let's get this show on the road. So, welcome. Thank you to anyone who's come to join this VOD review of Luffy Seed, or sorry, yeah, Luffy Seed, not Luffy, Luffy, Luffy Seed of the Duckling Weekly flag set, focusing on Black Belt. So this is not the Duckling Weekly itself, so no spoilers. But what we're going to be looking at is kind of how to approach the flags, what Luffy does, and kind of just um, go through and kind of offer some tips and some tricks to try and cut off a couple minutes or seconds here and there. Hey Luffy, how's it going? Glad you could make it. Yeah, so as tradition, we're going to start by taking a quick look at the flag set, just to kind of evaluate if there's anything going on, and then we're going to get started right into the VOD review. I think this video is going to be a little bit shorter than normal. Luffy's already quite fast, and also this flag set, it tends to be a little bit shorter than, say, like an entrance floor shuffle. So, yeah, let's get started here. So, pretty straightforward. The big one here is insert ruse item. So this of note does not mean that the defense sword is guaranteed in the pool. This inserts an additional ruse item, which is going to be what is normally the power staff slot, I believe. Yeah, the power staff. So that's of note. So it's going to make it easier for the black belt to find something that they can use to get their max evasion caps up. Yeah, no problem at all. Glad to be here as well. Um, Continuing on, nothing really special here except for that shuffle Astos flag. So this is definitely something we have to be concerned about right off the bat, as well as patrolling Warmech. So that's a good opportunity if you already have ground your black belt to get some more levels on your other party members. If like your mages are a little bit under leveled and fast is high level, for example. Note, I have not yet run the Duckling Weekly myself, so anything I say here is not going to be spoilers for that. So no worries about that. So the other note here is better trap treasure. Something that to be aware of is the fact that if you do end up taking a spike tile, you're usually going to want to check the chest in front of it, as they're going to be more likely to contain something like a ribbon or a white shirt. No loose, ribbon incentivized. Those are kind of important to know, but nothing special. And save game when game over. So this is going to let it. So if you accidentally lose a grind, you can just don't press hard reset, don't press soft reset, just wait. And then you will keep all of your levels and experience. So definitely a nice kind of quality of life feature for newer players getting used to black belts. Of course, huge HP, but relatively little threat by the bosses. Their skills and spells are going to be the biggest concern here, and like really, really good EXP and gold boost. Also, 10% per key out makes it so that it is worthwhile to do an extra turn in or two if you can before you start your grind. Although with 3.0 already, it's not as big of a deal. Force black belt, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Of course, have black belt crit rate, basically have from what we're all used to for weapon crit rate, and then shop information. So this just means that like swinging a weapon is going to be weak sauce. We want the fists, and that's what this flag set's all about. So yeah, without further ado, let's get started here. Oops, YouTube review. There we go. That looks good. Awesome. And here we go. Here's the seed. Hey Luffy, how's it going? And yeah, so let's take a quick look first at what the party comp selection is going to be here. So looks like we got a black belt, and then of course we are forced to be three mages. Oh, my chat tracker not working. Looks like it is. I don't know why it didn't show up. That's okay. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But yeah, Luffy mentioned that I reset out of a grind once on a seed with Caleb, not knowing how that worked. I hit reset fast after death. Yeah, for sure. Like, this would be terrible for me. I would just reset like boom. So yeah, I think in many ways I'd be even worse off. Um, yeah. So yeah, so Black Belt Rainbow. I think this party makes a lot of sense. Any new player, like really new player, I would recommend like this is 100% the party you're going to want to go with on this seed. I do definitely see a valid three-person comp here. Black belt, red mage, black mage. Um, I think there's also a valid three-person comp of like black belt Oreo here. So that way you have a little bit of extra running. Because with no loose, you're going to want to get through dungeons as quickly as possible. And the way that you lose by not 20 minutes, but if you lose by a minute, it can be because of that running. So, for a newer player, I think this party is good. Um, but I think that you could be a little bit more aggressive if you want to get the absolute fastest time. Running to a nun, for example, could also increase how quickly you can get your grind up and running. Okay, and we're right off the bat. So let's see what we get to right off the bat. I have done some 3-man, mostly from Chaos Rush. Oh, there it is. And now it's on the screen. Most from Chaos Rush, something. So it's not something I'm uncomfortable with. Yeah, so I would consider a 3-person party here. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that. I'm probably just going to run Oreo, but a 3-person party is definitely possible. And if you run the Rainbow, um, danning one of the characters off is definitely something that I would consider. Okay, so Cure 4 right off the bat, that is Red Wizard learnable, so that is a consideration for potentially letting your White Mage die. But um, you also don't really want to promote, so maybe you let your Red Mage die. And okay, never mind. So Red Mage, Black Mage, almost certainly going to be kept alive for the entirety of the seed. Nuke and Temper are just exceptionally valuable. Temper, not as valuable on this black belt, although with the scaling it is kind of nice for the HP. But like two really easy pickups here in Nuke and Temper. And I'm assuming that's exactly what you're going to pick up. Okay, so leaving Temper till later, I assume. Just for money's sake. Yeah, nothing. So in this flag set, I basically, with level 1 Nuke, there's no reason to check the weapon shop there. There is nothing really worth buying, I don't think. I don't think the power staff's for sale. So, okay, save items are available. So it just, as a heads up, when you check the item shop, what you should always be noting in Canaria. Oh, wanted to make sure money was good. Okay, that makes sense. Um, but yeah, when you're checking the Canary shop, you're always looking, are there save items? Are there heal potions? Because remember, there's always going to be softs and pures. So really, you're just quickly checking, A, you might want to buy a cabin or a tent if it's cheap, so you go up to when you go up to Toph. And B, you're always checking to see if there's heal pots and save items for later. Good routing, slightly faster, slightly faster, just go straight up instead of left, but not a big deal. Actually, I guess it's moot because you're going to save the step later. So yeah, ignore that. Okay, so I'm assuming that you powered cycled here. So that means that there's an encounter right away. That's definitely something I would be considering. So what I would be doing here is probably hard cycling, burning an encounter, and then soft resetting. Okay, you just soft reset. That's fine too. Ooh, two really quick ones. Yeah, checking armor shops. Yeah, especially with the black belt. I would still be checking the armor shops because gold bracelets and pro rings are still very valuable with this composition, especially if you're opening up boxes. So like I would be checking the armor shop because I would want my mages like pro ringed up, for example. Um, yeah. Wow, three encounters before Toph is like pretty high for this encounter rate. So I would almost certainly be preparing to burn 3 encounters before I do most things for this seed. Yeah, okay. Waiting's fine here. I kind of like the thought process behind like, hey, you know what, Nuke is going to do the trick. But do remember that Garland here, has that 300 to 500% HP, but the punches just aren't going to matter. Oh, you meant weapon. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. What are we doing? Okay. So confirming that we kill Garland, and then we're going to go check the other things. I see. So why are we checking this? I'm assuming for money. Um, but we didn't want $1,800. Interesting. Hmm. So I'm a little bit confused by that play. I think I get what you were attempting to do, and you just said that like $1,700, $1,800 isn't worth enough, which I kind of agree. But unless you get like a huge money chest there's nothing else that really matters. And if you already think you have enough gold to buy spells in Provoca, which you probably do with the scaling plus imp money plus Garland money plus maybe an encounter on the sea plus pirates. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know why you went back in there, but I probably wouldn't have. Okay, Canal Crystal. So this is also the other reason I don't like to check Toast shops, generally speaking, is that like the crystal turn is going to be a better way to get money. Like it's just safer because all the steps are free. Um, but of course, that's kind of getting punished. The other thing of note here is that saving was actually a really good idea because of the potential for Astos at the King or Sarah. So saving outside makes a lot of sense, and then maybe you just considered getting those chests just because you were there anyways. So I actually like the save after killing Garland. Um, and I also really like this play. Getting your spells before you leave so you never have to come back. Really nice. Although, oh no, there's no knight. Sorry. I'm too used to knight flags. So I was going to say you'll come back once you get the tail because your knight will be able to learn Cure 4, but that, of course, does not apply here. Okay, yeah. I guess it's just like, what's the purpose of it? And it's just, oh, I'm going to check some chests. That's not really a great purpose. It's like, I need this much money so that I can do my initial shopping and buy stuff at Provoca. I'd be a little bit happier with that, but that just comes down to like having intent behind your decisions. So this is a pretty easy Matoya before Provoca check. You're broke. You have Nuke. You have Crystal. Yeah, killing some sharks. And yeah, see, like the gold's pretty good. Even two sharks was like almost 300 gold there. That's obviously not a ton, but like it's definitely enough to go shopping at Provoca. It looks like you did a hard power cycle here again. I'm okay with that to check the sea, but at this point, it looks like there's fast encounters both on the sea and on the overworld. So you might want to consider that. I'm not sure if you did a hard power cycle there, but like in my brain, I'm counting, okay, three fast encounters on the overworld and potentially two fast encounters on the sea. Yeah, okay, cool. It's way harder encounter manipulating when you're watching, so yeah, I like the decision to kill this. I probably would have just nuked there. You're under level 6. Ogres and creeps are good until about level 6, and the money would be nice if there's nothing in here. So I'd probably kill that, but that's really minor. Okay, canoe. Okay, you don't completely understand encounter manipulation. So on this flag set, not this flag set, but on this seed, what I'm seeing is that there's 2 quick encounters on the sea, and there's 3 encounters on the overworld. It looks like the third encounter on the overworld matches the second encounter on the sea, because they are different encounter rates, right? Um, so what that means is that basically whenever I leave a town, after I'm saving, I'm probably going to be hard resetting, and then burning 3 encounters before I start moving. Or if I'm doing overworld migration, I'm going to be hard power cycling, and then I'm going to be burning 3 encounters by soft resetting out of each of them before I do my overworld navigation. And then the thing that you need to learn after that is how long that run is on the overworld or in the sea. And the way I do that is by listening to the music. So it's what I would do as soon as I get out of here, for example, if I'm still trying to figure out the encounter table, which you kind of are doing, is I would burn those 3 encounters and then listen to the music, taking no free steps, to figure out how long that fourth run is. Because I'd have to assume it's pretty long at this point, because 3 so quick is quite a bit at this encounter rate. I hope that makes sense about like my general approach to it at this point. Okay, yeah, takes the free step, that's fine. Encounter rates, like encounter manipulation is kind of hard to teach like from a VOD review like this, but it's definitely something like I can discuss with you, like, on a different channel potentially, or like while you're running, or like just do a practice seed. Okay, good decision. Do Bicky first. You have nuke. Oh, but oh yeah, no. I was gonna say note these pirates are super high HP, but once again, 9 HP times 5 is still 45. Okay, and Bicky can't be Astos, so no concerns there. Level 7 looks great. So level 7, you're basically out of things that you can do in the inner sea in terms of fights that are worthwhile. Just as a heads up. I'm not going to be speeding this up as much because this is a very quick video compared to some of the other ones. So I almost always buy like exactly 1 or 2 houses here because sometimes you just want one, but that's not a big deal. Yeah, check the armor shop. Nope, none of that. Good. Yeah, so I mean, so far, the only thing I really see is that I didn't really like the fact that you went into Topher, and I'm not really sure why. Like, I don't know what you were looking for, because like that much gold would probably have been worth it without knowing what the crystal is, but that's the only thing I see so far. Yeah, lit 3 and lock here, probably. Yeah, awesome. The one thing I don't like here is checking. It's not that big of a deal with level 1 nuke, but in general here, if there's fade, you just bought lit 3 on your red mage in slot 1, and that could be a little bit problematic. but not punished here. And I like the fact that you didn't immediately buy lock on your red mage just in case there's spells that you care about here instead. Good stuff. So let's see. That looks like that was no, that was a power cycle. Okay. I just recognized the encounter step. And then you're going to get another encounter in like pretty much like here. Yep. So definitely losing some time here to like not burning these two C encounters depending on how long this next run is. Because I'm going to assume this is quite long. Also, you're in the air at like 10 minutes, so this is like a ridiculous jet seed. Yeah. So with a red mage, I check white magic first. Or sorry, I check black magic first, buy nuke if it's there. Then I check white magic, buy fade if it's there, if I didn't see nuke, and then I go back. So I do it in I do three shop checks total. I think it's worthwhile just in case, but if you already have nuke or fade, you don't need to do it. Like nuke and fade, like fade really is the one that you're doing that triple check for. Otherwise, doing exactly what you're doing is fine. These are worth killing at the levels you're at with nuke, and your party sucks at running too. So like nuke is kind of the preferred way for you to get out of fights. So I was good. I was happy with that. Like run nuke, run nuke. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so we're getting in the air at 7 minutes and 52 seconds. Um, very few errors at this point, I would say. Where do we go next? Well, things on my mind are I have no money, so I don't really want to go to Elfland. Marsh, I don't have warp or exit, so I'm not really super inclined to go there, and I kind of want to check exit or I kind of want to check Elfland before then to see if I get warp or exit. So I think this is a pretty easy Sarda check first, but let's see what you decide to do. Oh, sorry, yeah, Crescent Lake and then Sarda. Yeah. This makes sense. Sorry. Yeah, check the shop. Good. But yeah, man, so far this is looking really good. So, if people are watching this, this is a good example of kind of the routing, good decision making so far. Now, of course, the black belt grind is going to be something that I'm going to be paying a lot of attention to. I would definitely mark down those gold plus threes. Hey, Kaldaka, how's it going tonight? Um, okay, nothing. And nothing. Cool. Something that I don't know if you were debating at this point, but danning the white mage at this point would definitely be tempting. Wouldn't do it until I check level 3 and 4 magic, but the fact that you have life on your red mage already and you have nuke and temper means that the white mage might be redundant. And the fact that you could bring your white mage up for the late game so you have a second life caster, because life is so low level, could be worthwhile. So like having your white mage like get stoned or something might be like perfect if possible. Yeah, no, this looks super smooth so far. I would say at this point you've maybe lost 45 seconds, maybe, to a vet, just on encounter manipulation primarily, and then a little bit just on menu speed. So something I'd be considering at this point is that the fact that I probably want to get some levels, and I'm curious what you're going to decide to do, because we know we have that really fast encounter on the hard power cycle. You could check for peds there off the power cycle. You could also potentially check Earth 1 if you want to get a few early levels. Oh, no, sorry. Spike tiles aren't randomized, so never mind. Um, you could kill giants there if you wanted, but it's not great. Um, knowing like what Reed and Reese and Gregley would say at this point, like going into Volcano as soon as possible is definitely very tempting to get those levels on those Agamas. You kind of have the ways to kill them already and everything, so yeah, I mean, formatting all the way here makes like is not a problem. The experience is so high that the gain is relative, but just something to consider if like you're running black belt strats on like slightly higher scalings. Cool. I would probably buy Warp in slot 1, but that's minor. You're going to cast Warp throughout the seed more than you're going to cast Brack, because most likely by the time you're killing Tia and Kraken, you're just going to be one-punching them with Black Belts. Um, Man, yeah, this White Mage is looking pretty redundant here. Only because your Red Mage is so powerful. Okay, yeah. I like that decision. Yeah. I mean, honestly, if you want to not like to skip that Fire 3 entirely, you probably could with Lit 3 and everything, but that's fine. Okay, good. You remember to check here as well. Um, I don't know how many heal pots you have at this point. Okay, you have 20. Okay, cool. Are you gonna go back and buy them? Okay, amazing. Yeah, this is great. So something that I'm like a big proponent of in black belt seats is that you get up to 99 heal pots before you start your grind, because man oh man do they make the difference. And when you're preparing for a grind, heal pots are a super important part of that equation. Even if your black belt's really powerful, you're still going to lose HP. And I mean, yes, dying on a grind here isn't as big of a deal, but you almost certainly want to be like killing Agamas and killing Carry, or checking eye tile and getting out. It's pretty nice. Yeah, buying some copper bracelets is fine. Okay, so I hope you remember to unequip that copper bracelet, because that's not going to be that great for that long. I believe it has like 8 absorb or something pretty low. So, I mean, copper plus 3 is going to last until your teens for sure, but just a heads up. Cool. Okay, and you remember to use warp. Really nice. Yeah, very little to say right now, which is bad for the content, but good for you, Luffy. I think the biggest time save I've seen so far is just in counter manipulation, but you were on the overworld for so short that it hasn't made a big difference here. Okay. Interesting. So you got warp, so you decided to go to Marsh to get an incentive item. I guess the benefit of this is that you potentially can get a ribbon, or you can potentially get a ribbon, and you can potentially get bonus experience. But I'd be pretty tempted at this point to try and take a grind, like to just go straight into your grind, so that way you can just go mode the rest of the seed. Not a bad decision though. Like you have warp. If you didn't have warp, it's pretty different. But yeah. Luffy, I'm not really sure when to unequip a black belt. Okay, yeah. So unequipping a black belt is a very simple calculation. It's not easy because you have to memorize all the armor, but it's very simple. The black belts absorb equals their defense, or the black belts absorb equals their level. So unequipped. So as soon as your absorb on your black belt is lower than the black belt's current level, you should unequip all the items. So let's take an example here. I actually don't know copper bracelets off the top of my head because they're too garbage for me to normally use. But okay, copper bracelets have 4 absorb. So this is a copper bracelet plus 3, I believe, which means the copper bracelet has 10 total absorb. So because they have 10 absorb, that means once your black belt is higher than level 10, you're going to be better off unequipping the black belt. It's that simple. There are some exceptions to this, which are later game with ribbons. If your black belt didn't get like super high level, um, equipping your black belt with a ribbon can provide the additional resistances that allow them to, stay protected against insta-death spells that could be very dangerous for them. So sometimes you'll equip a ribbon later just because. But yeah, that's kind of the equip unequip thing. As at this point I realize there's vanilla trap tiles once I start real certainty. Yeah, I wouldn't have gone here if I didn't have warp. So yeah, I hear you there. Okay, cool. Yeah, so warp was a good decision. Like warp, I'm gonna go here because I'm here. I need to probably go here anyways. That all makes sense. It's just because you know vanilla trap tiles, and I know that you didn't remember it, but like remembering vanilla trap tiles is really important. You can plan your grind around that. Also, that chest can be skipped, but depends on what other boxes you open. Because if you don't open the link chest to it, then that's fine. Okay, yeah, so you just skip the link chest. That's fine. I think that one takes less steps, though. So small adjustment there. I would just open those three instead of that top left one, but that's fine. Run, nuke, run, nuke. Yep, cool. You should have enough warp charges at level 3 at this point. Okay, Ruby. Oh. Okay, so I can see your chest opening problem starting to come into effect here. I'm okay with opening those chests on the way just to get a little bit of gold, but I would not be opening these additional boxes. We're just about to check 4 free chests in Titan's Trove, so like if you need a little bit of gold, just like a small influx, like what are we looking for at this point? I guess a ruse casting item, but honestly, this black belt's so powerful and these fiends don't do that much that as long as we find fast, you're not going to need it to a great extent. Um, I don't know. I wouldn't be opening this box. I opened those 3 probably, but I slightly disagree. I wasn't sure which chest are like. Yeah, so I always use the exact same routing in Marsh. You can find it on the Discord, but not a big deal. Yeah, Jed is very anti-opening unnecessary chests. Yeah, I mean, I'm not like Thunder or Shadow Walker where they will skip chests in loose flag set and say if the item's there I'm gonna lose because they're trying to go like so fast and play risky. But you know, it's all about why you're opening boxes and like, yay, we got an Excalibur, but like honestly, what's the best case scenario for that chest? 65,000 gold? A ribbon? I think the best case is a ruse casting item, but like I don't know how much of a difference that makes. And like, does it make your dive that much safer? Is it worth the time? I don't think so. Or would you rather have just ground your black belt for an extra minute and gone into level 42 instead of 32? You know, those are the debates you got to be making here. 3 warp charges, very nice. I mean, you have some on your red mage too, so not a big deal. Cool, good save. Nice. Okay. So I think at this point it's pretty obvious Ruby turn in bonus EXP plus free chests if you need some gold. At this point, you're level 10. You have like 6 casts of nuke. I would almost certainly be considering my grind next because you want to just get it out of the way. It makes everything so much safer. If you wipe, it's going to cost you way more time than the extra 5% EXP that you're going to get, or 10% EXP that you're going to get for going on some more key item goose chases. But like, you could wipe in ordeals. You could wipe in waterfall. Um, Maybe you hunt down the shop item, but I don't see much reason for it. So like I think I would just go straight to grinding. This seed's obviously a bit unusual with how early the floater is, but yeah. Okay, so we got the chime, so that's the end of that fetch chain. And okay, cool. Where are we going next? Ice Cave? Elfland? Where are we going? Ice Cave. Okay, Ice Cave makes a lot of sense. Um, so once again, you have 2 choices in grind tiles here. And my personal, in general, like you're gonna have your eyes and your agamas. In general, my preference is to go for the eyes. Eyes are, especially with warp. Sorry, let me rephrase that. With warp, my preference is to go for the eyes. The reason for that is the eyes are easier for the black belt to start solo killing. They do less unless they roll something really nasty, and they're worth more EXP per like second, basically. So the eyes are a faster grind. The big risk with them is getting the grind started in Ice Cave, but save on game over makes a big difference for that. So I think I would slightly prefer the eyes, so I like this decision to go to Ice Cave. What I hope you don't do here, though, is full clear it. We're going to speed this up a little bit, because I sense a grind coming. I like getting to level 10, 11 before you start your grind is a really good idea, so that way you get enough charges of nuke. But like this is like the jettiest jet seed. Like this is like vets get like 45 minutes on it, I think. Okay. Okay. Cool. Yeah, the eyes are my preferred grind to going down to the Agmas. Yeah. I mean, the other thing is that your party's not so high level at this point that I'd be too worried about, having trouble killing them off where like the volcano tiles can be helpful. But I mean, Ice Cave has the same tiles, so like in all cases, I think the eye is just preferred considering how easily you can get here. Now, I'm going to watch kind of your grind as you go and kind of discuss some various things, but like this grind is obviously kind of the most important thing. So I'm going to spend some time focusing on like what's going on here, the mechanics of it. So, okay, nuke, eye has no HP. Beautiful. Cool. Yep. So essentially, as soon as you identify that this eye has no HP, the first thing you probably should be doing is unequipping your gear on all your characters, including your black belt at this point, because your black belt has less um, your black belt has less absorb right now with having it equipped than he would have without it. I feel like this is where I lose time for sure. This was a mistake. I don't know what the mistake is yet, but it looks so far so good. I mean, level 15, like I probably would be aiming for my mages to hit at least 18 or 19 before I drop them, if I can. So like I don't see a big mistake yet, but I'm anticipating you're gonna have trouble killing your characters off safely. Okay, so now is when you want to start considering, like, I haven't seen your black belt punch him yet, so we don't know how much damage your black belt's doing. But so far we've seen nothing from the eye. This grind looks perfect. We just have to know when it's time to kill your black belt. Okay, so it's not quite time to kill your black belt. 21, maybe a little bit better, but you definitely want some party members to start going down here. And I mean, the preference is probably your white mage followed by your black mage. So I would have your red mage and black belts switched at this point. So the reason... Oh. Oh. Okay. Yep, that's a really good way to lose a bunch of time. Oh wow, I'm not even going to be able to talk about all the various ways of like killing your characters off and things like that. I mean, yes, the experience is really good, but your mages realistically just need to um, cast like a few spells and then cast life. So they don't need that many levels. And like this four-way EXP splitting is like super expensive. If you're going to keep your party up the whole time, going down to like 2-man or something, like running a 2-person party may be doable, but with 4, this is going to lose a ton of time. Okay, so level 20. This is like where I'd be like, we are definitely done. The reason is that we still have 4 dungeons to clear. There's going to be unrunnables. They're going to get some more levels. Ideally, what we're looking at here more than anything is, okay, maybe our black mage needs to cast fast and stuff like that, but like we haven't seen Melman magic. It could be level 7 still. But our HP totals are 322. We're not going to get them to full nuke safety, but if they get to level 23, 24, we're going to be in the 350. We're going to be out of nuclear range. That's probably feeling pretty good. Um, So like I would definitely be considering the mages dying. To be honest, I would probably have let like my black mage die like way earlier even if I could. So definitely some problems with this grind setup. Now, this eye is doing nothing, which means it can't kill your characters very easily. So, you can probably do one of two things. You can either rely on the floor below, the trap tile there to kill your characters off, or you can walk past it, bring all your characters down to 1 HP, use Cure 4 on your black belt, and then just wait for a few turns for that eye to punch these characters out. I think those are both viable options about how you get your characters killed off. But step one, even before this grind starts, I'd probably remove all my armor, or after the first fight, I'd probably remove all my armor, saying, you know what, if I take some damage, great. Step two, realize what level you want your mages at. And then step three, we're going to go down, find a way to kill them off. And that's either by taking the fight on the tile, or much safer, just running around for like 10, 20 seconds, getting all these characters down to 1 HP, and then Cure 4ing your black belt. Okay, so you do unequip your items, but this eye is never going to kill them. That's the problem. Okay, seeing what Bert did on Sunday made me realize my mistake assessment. Okay, cool. So I'm glad you recognized the mistake. So yeah, I think walking down is definitely the play here. So there's not that much else about this grind. This grind is so safe that like there's not really any like really small nuances to it. It's basically I'm going to cast spells and kill things with my black belt. But like knowing when to let your characters die off to be as fast as possible will make a huge difference. Because every second you spend menuing with these, every piece of experience they're getting at this point is completely redundant. So don't be afraid to just wait. But ideally, get them down to some low HP first and then wait. Something I like to do here before I let my white mage cure off, like die off, is if I have cure 4, right as I'm like, okay, my white mage is time to die, I always cast a cure 4 on my black belt, just as like a small little optimization. Man, that black belt does so much damage. Man, eyes are such EXP pinatas. Also, as a heads up, with your current party setup, I guess it's okay. It's funneling, but like I would probably have my red mage in slot too. But I mean, your red mage is pretty unlikely to die. Your black mage is the most likely. I guess just waiting for your eye to be punched out though is like not the right decision here. Like the eyes are great because they do no damage. Unfortunately, it's your biggest weakness here. Yeah, don't be afraid to use the tiles. Don't be afraid to just hold up bracelets for a few turns to wait for the eye to punch you out. Now, what are we doing? Okay, what's the plan? Whoa, 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 whoa. Why are we leaving? Why are we reviving someone? Okay, wait, I'm confused. So, black belts are exponential growth, but they're not a continuous function. They are a discrete exponential growth function, if that makes any sense. So, they are linear, and then they grow massively at certain hit breakpoints. And because of that, it makes it so that black belts before 21 are essentially useless. At 21, they start to become like an okay fighter with like a decent weapon. So like at 21, they become kind of the equivalent of like a Masa with like a Sun Sword plus one or two. And then at 32, they become a harder hitter than basic, especially with crit rate, not doubled or not halved. They become the best melee character in the game. And then at 42, they become an unstoppable beast. So when you bring a black belt, you can't really afford. I mean, in this race, of course, they're four, so it's a little different. But in general, when you bring a black belt, you can't really afford for them to be just a mediocre fighter. You need to get them to 32 for the most part. If it's a draft and stuff, that's different. But like here, we want to use that black belt, especially because HP is 300 to 500%. So making sure that we're using that black belt to its full potential involves getting it to 32 at some point. The fact that you just went and revived has completely removed that plan. Like I would be okay with here with saying, okay, I'm done with Ice Cave. I want to warp out, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the rest of my levels on Agamas. That's definitely a play you could make. But the fact that you revived a character means, well, I don't think that's what you're trying to do. Ooh, yeah, okay. So walking grind is going to be way slower. The reason why we grind on spike tiles, A, it's safe, but B is that it's the fastest EXP per minute, and that's also why this fighter rainbow party kind of goes against that. Like this fighter rainbow, this black belt rainbow party actually goes with the walking grind idea. But for the most part, what we want to do is get all our levels on a tile and then just steamroll the rest of the game running from absolutely everything and maybe fighting War Mech for a little bit of experience for our mages. So while this is going to work, it's definitely not the fastest. Okay, good re-equipping though. Chain -1 I think is better than Copper Bracelet +3, but I might be wrong. No, actually I'm probably wrong. Chain I believe is yeah it's 15, which is 13, and chain is 10. Yeah, so chain armor is still better. Chain armor is really good. Copper bracelets are really bad. I've like yeah, I very rarely equip them. Okay, so let's assume that you didn't make the let's assume that you ground your black belt to 32, like kind of what you know now. Ordeals is totally fine play. The issue I think I'm going to have with the rest of your seed is that a combination of the lack of encounter manipulation, plus the fact that you're doing a walking grind and therefore need to take mediocre to low experience fights, is going to lead to a huge time loss compared to a veteran who runs this seed. But that all being said, this is still like really good play in general. This is just an unfamiliarity with black belt strats. Small adjustment there. You can use the river tile. Little. If you walk on the river tiles in like a little this shape, you can get free tiles, but minor. Yeah, okay. It looks like you power cycled again. So you're unfortunately, I believe what you're doing is you're actually putting yourself at the worst spot in the encounter table. So you're actually actively working against the better encounter manipulation. because what I'm saying is like the encounter table has like 6 encounters or something at this scaling per 256 steps. 3 of them are within the first like 40 steps, let's say, which means the remaining 210 has 3 encounters. By every single time resetting, you're putting yourself at the most encounter dense part of the encounter table, and that's actively working against you. Versus even if you're just soft resetting, you'd get better results than what you're currently doing. So just kind of a thought, a food for thought. Septimus, and I really agree with him, said that the best way to get into encounter manipulation at the beginning is to just focus on I'm either seeing a long run at the beginning, so I'm hard resetting, or I'm going to soft reset for the rest of the seed. Even if it just starts out as that simple decision, like identifying the first encounter, if it's long or not, and then either hard resetting always or soft resetting always is a good starting point. But I think you have good enough game knowledge. You can probably go a little bit deeper than that, and I'd be definitely happy to like talk about a seed or something with you where that's the case. It's just hard to say when you're like not running it in real time, you know? Okay, so a little bit of bad memory there, but that's okay. Okay, good memory now. Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. Like these zombies, right, are so much worse than the eyes. Like if you were going to four party and just like I know you get it, but I kind of want to also emphasize like even a different thought pattern, which is that if you were going to four-person grind this party, which is kind of the decision you made, you'd be better off doing it on the eye than you are on all these random encounters. It's one thing to say I'm going to take all my unrunnables and I'm going to gain 1 or 2 levels. It's another thing to say I'm going to walk and grind 8 levels because then on average the encounters that you're going to get on your walking grind might look like, a distribution like this. But the eye is like here, which means 10 to 20% of the encounters that you're going to get are going to be better than the eye and everything else is going to be worse. So you could stop instead, just grind the eye to 30 and then run from every single other encounter, and you'll get where you're trying to go faster. The reason a walking grind is effective is because running is not free, which bumps the eye down because basically all these other encounters there's also runtime, so like that exp per time adjusts how good the eye is. That's one thing. The other thing is just the levels you need to get to aren't that high. So yeah, my issue with trying to understand what happens when I soft reset and where it puts me in the table, I would love a separate chance to discuss it further for sure. Okay, absolutely. I mean, what we can do honestly is just like I can pull up this exact seed. I have the flags. They're in the chat if you want to pull them up, and then we can just do the very beginning of this game, and we can get on the voice call in like Discord or whatever, and then I can go through kind of here's what we're doing, here's what happens when I hard reset, and how it makes a difference, and then I can even show you like how long it takes to get to Provoca to Canaria with it and without it, for example. Okay, so we have like $250,000 because we've killed a bunch of eyes. I don't know why we're opening chests. Once again, I guess it's a ruse item, but there's an incentive ribbon. That's the huge, huge, huge thing. I can see why we might need a ribbon, especially with these HP totals so high, but like, I don't know why we're opening boxes. I know I'm a broken record on this though, so like I won't push it too much, but like have a reason why we're opening boxes always. Nice, really good use there of Cure 4 and Life. I really like that. I really, really like you're playing really well for the most part. Just like the black belt specific stuff, not so good though. I think you're learning, and then just like higher level strategy, but like your tactical execution is really good. Even to your menuing decisions in battle, I really like them all. So it shows that you got like a lot of seeds under your belt. Small little tactical thing here again. I always mention this, but we can fix this routing up. So just like across, up, right, it saves an extra step or two. Yeah, I mean, I feel like you might be in the kind of improvement plateau. I don't know, but like you very well could be at the part where you need to save 10 minutes on vets. It's not 30 or an hour anymore, but those 10 minutes are really really hard to get because it's no longer making mistakes that like cost you obvious time. It's a lot of small things that really really add up as well as some high level strategy that's really really hard to see. Like it just becomes like so much less visual because like encounter manipulation is visual but not really something that you can like easily grok until you do it intuitively. But yeah, like this decision to walk and grind to 32 is like, oh, it's gonna cost you so much time. Yeah, FOMO for sure. But what are we scared about missing out on, right? Like, are we gonna have trouble in this Temple of Fiends with bosses at 80 to 140% scaling? Yes, they have infinite HP, but like, does it matter? Probably not. And like the biggest risk is that everything dies and we're down to just their black belt, and that's a little bit of a risk where like a ruse stick would make a big difference. But like outside of that, there's not that much that's scary. Um, okay, so one note on faster flag sets, especially jet seeds, proximity routing becomes more important because you have less time that you can afford to lose. So with the Oxyel in hand here, I think that's the Oxyel, right? Or is that no? That's the crystal. Yeah, no, no, but you have the Oxyel. Yeah, with the Oxyel in hand, I'm pretty sure that you should go to on rack and waterfall first before turning in this key because you don't need the um, key item experience or anything. There's really no benefit to getting the key. We're not opening any chests anyways. Now, this is played against by the fact that you have a black belt at 26 instead of 32, like kind of would be expected. But like assuming your black belt was 32, you want to just really be clearing kind of by area as best you can, and only doing turn-ins when necessary. Like proximity routing, because nothing is scary, becomes a higher priority. Versus in other seeds where your fighters are level 11 and your mages don't have nuke, all of a sudden what I can beat is more important. So it's not just about how fast I can go and how proximal I can stay. Because proximity routing saves not that much time compared to a wipe, but there's like no chance of wiping here. So we want to be doing proximity routing, and we can full clear the on-rack continent with warp. So like on-rack continent is as good as it gets, and it was right there. Hmm. But I mean, like you also have two casters of Brack. Like the Fiend ones don't matter. I mean, the Fiend twos definitely do, but like who cares if Kraken has what 800 times 5 4,000 HP? You just brack him and he dies. Okay, so life 2. It is promotion locked for the Red Wizard. I'm not sure if you're aware of that, but this slot is promotion locked. But I would, at this point, I see no reason to promote except outside of maybe fast. Yeah, I mean the safety's nice, but like you could even decide to like put your Red Mage in slot 1 and just cast Ruse with it. Like there's a lot of other options that you could go for if you're scared. But the other option is just go for the nuclear option. If you grind your black belt to 42, it's going to be faster than opening all the boxes. Fast. Darn. Okay, so no fast. That's a little bit of a concern, and that would increase my likelihood of promotion. You have one slot left, get level 7 in Gaia, but that's a little bit concerning in terms of speed and powering. And the less you can speed and power, and with that information, the safety of the defense does become more important. So that is of note. We also haven't seen Invis 2, I don't think. Where are we going? Where are we going? What are we doing? Okay, sure. So this plays totally fine, but keep in mind that, and like this is me really, really nitpicking. But you had all this gold when you finished Ice Cave. If your plan was to get these gold bracelets, you could have gotten them when you were there. So like this proximity routing once again is losing you time. I hope you do Volcano right now though, at least. For the record, I also would have cleared Volcano once I cleared Ice Cave once I'm done my grind. Because you can, and it's right there. So let's hope you go to Volcano. No, okay, so you're routing like it's a fighter seed and you want all your key items before you're either routing like it's a fighter seed and you're scared of things, or you're routing like there's loose items and I need to know if they're required. But neither is true. We know exactly what we need to do to beat the game. We know exactly where all of our items are. Like we don't know which one is which, but like anything that you're nearby that you can clear at this point, you could have cleared the entire southern continent as well as you could have cleared the entire game at this point except for uh Chime location, Sky Palace, right? Like you can do everything except for going to there because you're missing the cube. Oh no, you have the cube. Wait, are you just in go mode? Oh no, you need the loot. Okay, but you can literally do the loot as like the last thing you do. So you can just be proximity routing everything else rather than doing these fetch quests first. I guess because you're trying to walk and grind your levels, then getting them matters a little bit more. But I would argue that the time spent flying around instead of just proximity routing wherever you're near is probably costing you more time. Oh, never mind. You didn't have the Oxyl. Okay, I take back everything I said about what the heck. What's this mountain? I thought that was the Oxyale. I take back my comment about on-rack, but I hope you understand what I'm trying to say about like proximity routing in a black belt seed where you can kill anything versus like loose items where you're trying to determine if you need to open boxes or fighter seeds where you're scared of places. So I hope that concept makes sense where it's like I'm near a volcano, I might as well clear it because I'm there. So where are we going next? Yeah, shop item perfect. And then we're gonna go on-rack waterfall, I would guess. Probably do waterfall first, just once again for safety, but like it's pretty minor. It's kind of whatever. Yep, cool. Buy a bunch of houses. I like that. Parking in the right spot. Saving. Did you power cycle? No. Yes, I think. So I think once again you're at the worst part of the encounter table because I think you're gonna get an encounter here in a couple steps. Okay, you totally see what I mean. Okay, awesome. Yep, good decision by the TNT. I like that. Okay, so you get the TNT first because you know it's there. Um, oh my god, yeah. Okay, this third run is massive, so yeah, we probably want to be using that. That's okay. Cool. Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna fight, commit to it. Your black belt's gonna do no damage because it's level 26. Perfect waterfall routing so far. Also, as a note, this is actually a pretty good tile to get some early levels on if you don't want to dive like waterfall or volcano, but like it's not good for the black belt at all. Okay, slab. Yeah, okay, so that's a power cycle. Ooh, okay, nice soft reset. You're gonna hit another encounter here. Or not. Yeah, there it is. Cool. So that was correct use of encounter manipulation there. So you should get a long run in Sea Shrine? Maybe not. I don't have the encounter. I would need to play the seed, which we're going to do afterwards, but I need to figure out exactly what's going on here. I just don't know which button you're well what button you're pressing. So I use R and L. R is hard reset, L is soft reset. So that's why I do this, but I just don't know which one you're doing. You can save exactly one step there by walking along the left of the second pillar or the second walkway because this step right here is free because it's in front of a door. So if you walk this way and across rather than walking across at the bottom, you save one step. Yes, more than two Wiz Mummies take the fight. Yeah, that's generally the rule. I mean, it's different when your party's level 26 across the board, but for fighter comps, yeah. If you're level lower than like level 16 to 18, it's pretty good. And I just don't see how this walking grind's gonna work for you. The problem is it's like 10,000 in EXP to get a level at this point or something like that. And you're getting so much less because of the four person. Oh, ooh, interesting. That could work. I have my 8-bit Do controller, so the L and R is actually kind of nice for it. I couldn't play this game with the analogs though. Or do you mean like these analogs? Because yeah, then those ones could work too. But like if it was like my movement stick, I'd be terrified. So this Kraken has a ton of HP, so Brack is the way to go. Yeah. Oh wow. Okay. Cool. What are we doing? Where are we going? Okay, that's slower for sure. Yeah. So waterfall is in line with essentially waterfall is kind of in line with dwarf cave, and the oasis is kind of in line with earth cave roughly. I don't think it's quite that much, but like it's west. So because you were west, you want to just go straight up or down. So it's like if you're west, which is on-rack waterfall or earth cave, dwarf cave, Canaria-ish, you want to just fly up and down, right? So there's kind of like I always split the map in two. There's like volcano, ice cave, Lefane, Provoca, Gaia, Chime, which are kind of in a row. Then there's on-rack, waterfall, earth cave, Sarda, which is kind of in a row, and then the middle is like Canaria, ordeals, promotion. So you want to make sure that airship routing was just really inefficient. Yeah, I mean the 8-bit took a little while for me to get used to. I used to have a Buffalo, but it's okay now. Okay, so if we're checking chests for items, that white shirt should be enough. Like once again, it's just like why are we opening boxes? What are we scared? Like have a reason. I'm looking for X and that's why I'm opening boxes. When I find X, I'm going to stop. As long as you can do that, I'm happy. If it's like I'm opening boxes cuz I feel like I should, that's a no-no. Wow, this fetch quest chain. Nice. Ooh, 3 for good luck. Nice. Really good proximity routing there. I'm impressed. I was going to say I hope you do the slab turn in. Once again, why are we checking armor shops? Is it because we haven't found pro rings yet? But you skip Gaia. So, little bit suspicious there. I'm assuming it's for pro rings, but just kind of a thought. So we need to loot. The other one's the ribbon. I would probably get the ribbon, even if it was in Lefane, but yeah, okay, there's the ribbon. So, did you put it? Okay. So I disagree with this decision. The reason is because, yes, your white mage feels more important, but in reality, your red mage is more important. Why? Well, you put it on the white mage because that's your traditional life caster, but the red mage is actually more valuable for you because it casts temper and it casts life. So the red mage is also higher level and has more HP because it's higher level. So the red mage is actually a better ribbon caster. I guess Cure 4 is valuable, but like I would be putting it on the red mage here. Yeah, overworld travel. Okay, yeah. And I think this is where I stopped after the WS. After the I don't know what the WS is. Okay, yeah, that overworld routing was fine. You can save steps once again there by going through this pond because remember the steps into and out of rivers, which this is, are free. I think this I stopped after the white shirt. Okay, cool. That makes sense. And hey, it's Astos, and he has the loot. Okay, well at least you stopped for a reason. I mean, you could argue that you don't need that in the first place, but at least I understand. You stopping is good. Okay, I don't think there's really much to note for the rest of the seed probably until like maybe Topher, but even then, I'll definitely keep watching because I'm assuming there's like 20 minutes left or something like that. But um, I don't. I think a lot of your time loss has already happened, and assuming you're not opening boxes in here or doing anything egregious, this should be pretty standard at this point. And I think your like routing is probably good enough that you're not like losing a ton of time. I would take this fight. Yeah, cool. I wouldn't take this fight if I didn't already have. If my black belt was already 32, I wouldn't take this fight. But like with your party, that's a good EXP fight. This is also yeah, cool. Okay, fight selection so far so good. Man, these have a lot of HP. Yeah, your black belt's gonna make it. It's gonna take a bunch of extra time, but he's gonna make it. Slightly faster to menu to a ring than it is to swing, but that's not a big deal if your menuing's fast enough. Good stuff. Okay, I like that you committed at least to like, hey, I got the white shirt. I feel good about this now. Okay, greed boxes. Why? I don't know, but at least you said I'm only checking the greed boxes, so that's fine. I'm not going to harp on like greed boxes. What I'm going to harp on is full clearing a bunch of places for no reason. Now it shows a good fight. These are good. Metal slimes are weak to fire. You don't have it, but just a note. Levels are good. Yep, we're doing it. I mean, the EXP is so good, and it's 10% per key item, so like this is ridiculously good EXP. And there's a lot of been unrunnable, so you know this has worked out okay, but I think the whole party nature of it is difficult. I actually, I'm debating if it would actually be quite fast to like just two-man the remainder of this seed, but like to like grind your black belt less and just like two-man the entire thing, but eh. I think grinding's so fast in this flag set that like there's no reason not to do it. Cool. So we probably should do Oxiel. Oh. So once again, routing decision is wrong here. The reason is because Oxiel is on the southern continent. Yeah, yeah. You're. It's faster to go right than left than go up and down twice. So you want to go air, sky to waterfall to volcano, rather than go sky to volcano to um. Oh no, no. Sorry, you have Earth next. No, this is fine. Yeah. Sorry, you're sorry. You're totally fine. I thought you had Sea Shrine left, but you have Earth. This is fine. Please ignore what I said. I mean, Tia's pretty swell with HP, but like everyone's swell with all the bosses are swell with HP. Yeah. Sorry. I'm going crazy. This is the right decision. Yeah, Sea, Sky, Volcano, Earth. I think you'll find for most of these flag sets the general order is going to be Volcano very early, because you're either going to do your grind there or you're going to finish your grind in Ice and then go to Volcano right away. But yeah, that's fine. Slightly, I would take the fewer steps approach here. Your HP doesn't really matter, but that's minor. Man, you have a lot of unrunnables. Cool. Good uses of heal 3. I've been liking your usage of like heal 3, cure 4, all that jazz. It's been good. Good stuff. So carry there has 600 or no, has 1800 to 3000 HP. Probably 2 or 3 shottable, so I wouldn't be casting Ruse. I'd just be waiting with your white mage. Yeah, it's all good. Yeah. Stop with the ambushes. Stop with the unrunnables. Man, everything's ambushing you. Ooh, that would have been scary earlier. There's basically no reason to go into Earth for any reason, unless you really want to like punch some giants or something. So no one probably hit that on this exact same flag set. Sorry, no one hit that in a dangerous way. Bye, vampire. See, even that I would just skip, but it's fine. Cool. What path do you take? Middle path. Yes, you're correct. That is the fastest path. Good job. Cool. Perfect ice cave, or very nice earth cave. No routing issues. Yeah, just good. I guess it is worth pointing out that greed chests are like something to note with better trap treasure is that greed chests become less valuable like the greed chest on Earth 3. This is just a general comment, not so much in the seed, but like the greed chest on Earth 3 with better trap tiles is the one that's blocked by the trap tiles. It is the better trap tiles because like you don't really need random items. What you need is elite gear, and the elite gear is more likely to behind the better trap tile. So if you're going to check exactly one chest on Earth 3 and you think it's worth opening a box, you want to open the one that's behind the trap tile, the one that's, before you get to the vampire, the one that's straight up. Um, just a general note about better trap treasure, not so much related to like your decision there, but just something to consider. It makes it more likely that other bosses that aren't better are trash. Yeah, fast is good. Nuke Lich here has 1200 to what? 2000 HP, so next punch will do it for sure. Cool. Okay, to Temple of Fiends Revisited. So you have fast. Yeah, pretty much good to go. Yeah, no, damage poison would have been gross earlier for sure. Oh no, go ahead. Yeah, yes, the Vanilla Eye. What a terrible tile. What? Okay, I hope it's for the memes. Good Temple of Fiends Revisited routing so far. Levels are good. And yeah, your mages have so much HP. How many casts of fast did you have? Yeah, okay, that's fine. I don't think I would be casting fast against Lich there unless you have five, six casts. Five casts. Lich took care. No, unless you have six casts. The reason is that you want to save a fast for slow 2, and you definitely want fast against Carry, Kraken, Tia, and Chaos. Like Lich is, unless it's like nuke Lich, very unlikely to cause much of a threat. So probably just tempers are fine there. Fast is like the most, yeah, 5? Okay, yeah, so I would have saved a cast there because of slow 2. Like slow 2 on Chaos is way worse than like Lich. But that's pretty minor. Just remember that slow 2 exists. 5 is of course right on the borderline. So cool. I like the wall cast, by the way. That's a nice touch. Good stuff. Man, this black belt's just blowing through this Temple of Fiends Revisited. Like you can see just how fast it is, like right? Like your black belt wouldn't be casting defense shirt anyways. Yes, slow 2 should definitely be considered. I mean, it's not that dangerous here, but just in general, that's something that you should be thinking about existing, because it can be like absolutely crushing if you get slow 2'd once, never mind twice. Yeah. Okay. And here's another example of where like the red mage is more valuable than the white mage. I guess the white mage has fade at this point, but having nuke instead would be better. Oh god. What a painful fight. Yeah, this is okay. You can burn a cure 4 to like unstun your black belt, but I don't think it's worth burning a charge. Probably would be at this point actually with so many. Oh, the fact you just burned a bunch there anyways. Okay, so this is probably okay. Fast is probably more important than your first life caster because you want to kill Kraken before he kills you, and realistically, your black belt's doing 1500 damage to him a turn. Kraken has 900 HP, so 2700 um, minimum up to 4500. So he's dying in 3 to 4 fasted punches, maybe 5, but with tempers, probably 3 or 4. it's very unlikely he punches your like 2 life casters back to back. So I think fast is more important than your like white mage actually in this case. But if your red mage was ribboned, I would be going white mage, black mage, red mage, black belt. But I can see the justification behind protecting both your life casters. I just think fast is really, really important on these bosses. But you know, if you get perfect turn order, it's great. Because yeah, this is going to do 2,000 damage, and then the next one's going to kill him. Yeah. So that was a 3 turns. So unless he went like punch, 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 in which case you're kind of in trouble anyways. I think switching these order, because that fast is more important. But those are very specific to this flag set. Good. Yep. Same thing here. The fast is more important, but it's not the end of the world. I think against Tia, with the black belt and the scaling where it is, wall is way more important than evasion. Because the worst thing that can happen to you is your black belt getting bracked or cracked or zapped. That's like how you lose. So I think wall priority is probably higher. Because your black belt's not like level 42. Like this white shirt's taking a bunch of time and it's not doing anything really. Like who's he gonna punch down that matters? He's dying this turn, right? Or maybe dying next turn. Okay, cool. It's funny when the like enemies are worse fight than the bosses with 300 to 500% HP, but it turns out just a ball of HP doesn't do anything. So 36 black belt. You have gold bracelets plus 4. Those have 32 absorb. They're 24 base, I think. Yeah, so 24 base for gold bracelets. Gold bracelets plus 3 or plus 4 are going to have like 30 or 32 absorb. I would almost certainly be moving your ribbon onto your black belt with a gold bracelet. Because once again, what is your loss condition in this fight? Your loss condition is that your black belt dies. You can turn one wall your Cure Forecaster, but you can't turn one wall your black belt is risky, so I would almost certainly be moving the ribbon here. You don't. I mean, 36 black belt's pretty safe, but it's not 100%. And like the way you lose this is your black belt dies. Also, once again, fast is the most important spell here. It's way more important than anything the red mage has to offer. So like, I would be probably going red mage, black mage, white mage maybe, because white mage has cure 4, or maybe even red mage, white mage, black mage. Like, what's the most important spells they get off here? Fast, not lock, maybe temper, but mostly fast. So like, the black belt's the most important here. Or sorry, the black mage. Okay, wall does go off, so I like the decision to prioritize wall, but I would have done it the other way. I would have had my ribbon on my black belt and had walled my white mage turn 1, for example. Yeah, everything else is good here. You're just going to temper and... Ooh, he should be hitting 8 times. So lock is going to do more damage increase than temper here, because your black belt should have 8 punches at level 32. So uh, lock is going to make a bigger difference than temper when he's missing 4. Very minor things, but just like things to consider. Okay, 14 better. At this point, I wouldn't have even been bothering to white shirt just for like the essence of like absolute speed, but that is the safest technically correct play. Okay, so overall, GG's, congratulations. Pretty good seed overall. Like as I said, I was pretty impressed by like your dungeon knowledge, all that stuff. It's clear that you've been playing for a while and have improved quite a bit. But I think the overall like conceptual understanding of how to play a black belt as fast as possible, not necessarily as safe as possible, is definitely missing here. I think you've got it a little bit more. I think talking about encounter manipulation is definitely something that you can improve on. But definitely something to consider. A little bit of boss strategy things here and there, just like the strategies that you're missing aren't like what's the most optimal spell. It's like what's my strategy, higher level, what matters the most. And that's where I feel like your mistakes were, rather than like, oh, I chose to cast the wrong spell with my black mage, right? It's like recognizing that fast is more important here than temper. Um, So yeah, and then like yeah, little things like lock and temper. Like it's difficult to do that because you need to know how many hits you're supposed to have. But black belts are pretty easy: 21, 6, 32, 8, 42, 10. And then when you fast it, you double it. So those are definitely little improvements you